True cowboy gesture there, my man.
You know how they all act. This is the coolest thing, this cowboy series.
Yeah, the cowboys, they meet the lovely young lady, they kiss her hand, and a couple old hombres like us meet, just like, howdy, partner, where you been? One of those type things. Hey, enjoying these songs, especially like Billy the Kid, I guess you have to do some research on these guys. What'd you find out about them? Anything interesting? Or?
Well, Billy the Kid was, in fact, a kid. He was about 11 years old when he got into his first real conflagration. He came from New York. He was actually from around the Bronx area. His mother was Irish, and when he lost his dad, they went down to get some work in Silver City, New Mexico. He was sort of orphaned when his mother really got very, very poor, and so he went to work as a cowboy. He got caught up in what they called the Lincoln County War. And was he an outlaw? Was he not an outlaw? Well, that's up for grabs because Billy the Kid, as a matter of fact, was very loyal to the ranch where he worked, and they were against a bunch of crooked politicians up in Santa Fe. The Young Guns films, 1 and 2, actually, unlike a lot of Hollywood westerns, did a good job of bringing out the history of all this. Yes, I do. And Billy the Kid was, in fact, quite a charming fellow. The only existing picture of him shows him to be sort of a sloppy-looking guy, but a couple of new pictures have come out just recently. He was an absolutely charming fellow, loved music, loved to dance. As a matter of fact, my fiddle player's cousin, distant, his relatives were a member of Billy the Kid's gang, and they were fiddlers. The Co-Brothers.
Guys, it's amazing what you have found out. So you researched, I guess, a lot of the outlaws and the bad guys and put it all in song for this particular album.
Well, during the Victorian era, and also today, there's a new fascination with westerns, as you know. During that period of time, years ago, their only entertainment was to sing about the fantastic things, the dramatic things that happened. So as a result, cowboys and everybody else all sang these songs. But very few cowboys actually carried guns. Many of the outlaws were cowboys, but very few cowboys are outlaws.
How did Billy the Kid meet his demise? Whatever happened to Billy the Kid?
Well,
I don't think I ever heard.
There is a place today in Fort Sumner, New Mexico, where Billy the Kid's buried. And the story is that Sheriff Pat Garrett, who was a friend of his, was once a bartender in the Beaver Saloon in Fort Sumner. And he became the sheriff of the county. Unfortunately, it became his job then to hunt the kid down. He went to Fort Sumner on a dark night. Billy had gone out of the house to get something out of the meat house. They used to keep the meat separate from the house, hanging out in sort of a smokehouse. He went to cut himself a piece off of it, came back in the night. He was barefooted at the time, and apparently he said, Ken S, because he heard noises in the room. It was Pat Garrett, and that was the end of Billy the Kid.
That was it.
He was then buried right there in Fort Sumner, and it's a very mysterious place. If you ever get a chance, it's right off of I-25 in there, and you go down just a little bit south, off of I-40 in New Mexico. You go down to Fort Sumner and you see the kid's grave. It's kind of a lonely place, and as a Westerner, it definitely gives you those chill bumps.
Oh, yeah. You know, you really ought to teach. You know so much. I mean, Professor Murphy. What do you think? Think you would?
I actually prefer to teach this way and get it out this way because I think, I played for a bunch of kids at St. George's School in Memphis this morning, first through 6th grade. And these kids are fascinated by the West and by cowboys, and to get a chance to go in and teach that way and then get around to other schools around the country is more fun.
You know, one thing that we did a story on a while back on Crooked Chase was the dilemma of riding a horse and singing at the same time. Now, in the movies, that made it look good, but when you think about it, when you're riding a horse, now listen, I want you to listen to him. He's riding a horse and singing. Now watch this. This is Michael Montgomery.